Tonight your brain can dream in stages, and it can feel real behind closed eyes. Over 2 hours, collect over 120 dream facts and learn how a stage switch changes intensity and memory. If you are here to drift off, tap like, then dim your screen or set your phone face down. Tomorrow, leave one dream detail, even a color. Think of your night as a quiet playlist, not one long song. Sleep comes in repeating cycles, and each cycle has a familiar rhythm of lighter and deeper stages. Most adults complete several cycles in a night, often near 90 minutes each, though real nights vary. In the first cycle, your brain usually moves from light sleep into deeper non-REM sleep before it swings back up again. Non-REM means non-rapid eye movement sleep, and it is where much of the body's repair work is emphasized. Early in the night, deep non-REM sleep is more common, especially if you went to bed tired or sleep-deprived. Deep non-REM is sometimes called slow-wave sleep because the brain's activity becomes slow and synchronized. Later in the night, the balance shifts and REM sleep becomes longer and more frequent. REM means rapid eye movement sleep, named for the small bursts of eye motion under closed lids. That late-night rise in REM is one reason morning dreams can feel longer, richer, or more vivid. Here is a gentle question to hold. Do you remember more dreams near morning or after a nap? If you want, answer it tomorrow in a calm comment, even with a single word. To understand why timing matters, it helps to meet two forces that guide your sleep: your clock and your pressure. Your internal clock follows a roughly daily rhythm that nudges you towards sleep at certain times. If you tend to be a morning person or a night owl, your internal clock can shift when REM clusters near waking. Light late at night, especially bright screens, can nudge the clock later and push REM richer sleep toward morning. Sleep pressure is the buildup of need for sleep that grows the longer you stay awake. When sleep pressure is high, your brain tends to prioritize deeper non-REM earlier, like paying a quiet debt. When sleep pressure is low, you may slide through lighter sleep more easily, and the night can feel different. This is why the same bedtime can lead to different dream timing on different days. A late night after travel, stress, or short sleep can change which stages show up and when they appear. Even within one person, sleep is not a perfect script. It is a living pattern. Sleep scientists map this pattern using sleep lab recordings and carefully timed awakenings. In a lab, people may be awakened during different stages and asked what was in their mind just before waking. Those reports show an important point. Dreaming is not limited to REM sleep. Dreaming can appear in non-REM sleep too, especially in lighter non-REM stages and sometimes even in deep sleep. However, the style of the experience often shifts with the stage you wake from. On average, awakenings from REM produce more story, like visual and emotional reports. On average, awakenings from non-REM produce more fragment-like reports, such as thoughts, images, or brief scenes. Still, there are plenty of exceptions, and some non-REM dreams can be complex and cinematic. One reason stage matters is that different brain networks are more active or more quiet across the night. Another reason is memory. Your ability to hold on to a dream can depend on how you wake. Many dreams fade because the brain does not store them as a stable memory trace. If you wake gently at the end of a cycle, you may catch the dream while it is still close. If you are pulled out of deep sleep abruptly, your mind may feel foggy and recall can be harder. That fog has a name in sleep research: sleep inertia, the heavy grogginess after waking. Sleep inertia is not a failure of willpower. It is a normal transition as the brain turns systems back on. Alarms can interrupt that transition, and they can also interrupt the dream itself. When you wake naturally, you often wake near lighter sleep, which may favor remembering. This is one reason some people report more dreams on weekends, when they wake without urgency. If you wake very early for work, you may cut off some of the longest REM periods and miss longer dream stories. If you sleep a little later, you often give those late cycles more room, and recall can feel more frequent. For many people, the most vivid dreams arrive when the brain is close to waking, not when it is deepest asleep. So there is no need to chase the perfect stage tonight. Just let the cycles do their slow work. It is also why late morning dreams can seem intense, because REM periods lengthen toward the end of sleep. Across a night, REM periods often start short and gradually stretch longer in later cycles. Meanwhile, deep NREM tends to be strongest early and may become less dominant after the first few cycles. Light NREM acts like the hallway between rooms, a place you pass through many times. If you have ever felt like you were half dreaming and half thinking, you may have been near that hallway. The boundaries between stages are not always sharp in your experience, even if they look clear on a chart. Now, let's zoom in on a single cycle and imagine it as a slow wave moving across the night. You fall asleep, drift into light NREM, then gradually deepen as the world grows quieter. Body temperature, heart rate, and breathing tend to slow, and the muscles relax more fully. After some time, the brain climbs back toward lighter sleep, and then REM may appear. In REM, the brain becomes more active in some regions, while the body's big muscles stay very still. That stillness is a protective feature, a way to reduce acting out vivid dream movements. Your eyes may dart under the lids, and breathing can become less regular for a while. Then the cycle resets, and you drift back into NREM again, beginning the next loop. Over the whole night, these loops add up to a quiet architecture, like rooms connected by gentle corridors. Timing matters because your dreams ride on this architecture, and the ride changes as the night goes on. If you nap, you are stepping into the architecture at a different point in the day. Short naps often stay in light NREM, where dreamlike thoughts and images can still appear. Longer naps can reach REM, especially if you are sleep deprived or if the nap is later in the day. Some people notice that late afternoon naps can bring surprisingly vivid dreams. That is partly because the body clock is shifting again, and partly because you may reach REM faster. Researchers call that faster entry into REM a shortened REM latency, and it can happen after loss of sleep. But there is a trade-off. Long naps can also reduce sleep pressure and change nighttime sleep later. For bedtime listening, the gentle takeaway is simple. Your brain can dream at many points, in many styles. Another quiet factor is brief awakening, sometimes so short you do not remember it. Many people have micro-awakenings at night, lasting only seconds, and they can help dream recall later. Not because they cause dreams, but because they give the brain a chance to tag the experience as a memory. If you wake, roll over, and fall back asleep, that small pause can act like a bookmark. Dream diaries take advantage of this by asking you to write a few words as soon as you wake. But tonight, there is no homework, only understanding. One more timing detail. Dreams you recall can be biased toward the moments right before waking. This is called the recency effect, and it is why the last scene can feel like the whole story. You might dream many times in one night and only remember the final segment. So if you rarely remember dreams, it does not mean you do not dream. It can simply mean your awakenings do not line up with the moments when recall is easiest. Age also reshapes sleep architecture, and that changes when dreams tend to happen. Infants spend a large portion of sleep in REM-like states as the brain develops rapidly. As people grow older, total sleep time often decreases and deep NREM can become lighter. Many adults average something like a fifth to a quarter of the night in REM, with wide variation. Medication, alcohol, and stress can shift stages too, sometimes reducing REM or fragmenting sleep. Fragmented sleep can increase recall by creating more awakenings, even if the sleep feels less refreshing. This can be why anxious nights sometimes produce more remembered dreams, even when you wish they would not. Another shift happens after a night of little sleep. The next night may show REM rebound with extra REM time. In simple terms, the brain may try to catch up on a stage it missed. None of this means REM is the only dream stage. It means the night has a changing flavor. If you wake from deep NREM early in the night, your mind may feel blank or stuck in slow motion. If you wake from late-night REM, your mind may carry a scene, a face, or a feeling into the room with you. Over the next sections, we will use this timeline again and again, like a quiet map. And soon we will zoom into the brain systems that paint the dream world itself. When you dream, your brain is not using a special dream organ. It is reusing the same perception systems you use when you are awake. That is why dream scenes can feel like you are truly seeing, hearing, and moving through a place. In many lab studies, when people are awakened from dreaming sleep, their reports match patterns seen in brain imaging. Those patterns suggest that higher visual and association areas can be quite active during vivid dreams. It is like the brain is running its own private cinema with the projector inside the skull. Because the inputs are generated from within, the dream can change scenes with no warning. A hallway can become a beach, then a classroom, without needing doors or travel. In waking life, the outside world pushes back and stays consistent. In dreams, the brain is both the storyteller and the stage. This internal freedom helps explain why dream plots can bend time, space, and identity so easily. Many dreams pull from memory, but they rarely replay it like a clean recording. Instead, memory fragments can be blended, reshaped, and stitched into new scenes. A face in a dream may be a mix of real features you have seen in different people. A place in a dream can feel familiar, even if it does not exist in waking life. That sense of familiarity likely comes from association systems that tag patterns as known or unknown. Some researchers describe dreaming as the brain sampling pieces of experience and recombining them. This can happen even when the combinations make no logical sense. One network often discussed in this context is the default mode network, which supports inner narrative and self-related thought. When you daydream, imagine, or remember, this network can become more engaged. Dreaming may lean on similar machinery, but with fewer constraints from outside input. So a dream can feel like a story you are living, even if the logic is loose. In some sleep imaging work, areas linked with vivid imagery show stronger activity during rich dream reports. This lines up with the simple feeling that dreams can look detailed and cinematic. Your brain already knows how to build a scene from limited information. It does that in waking life too, filling gaps and making predictions. Dreaming may be an extreme version of that process, where predictions become the whole experience. In waking perception, your eyes provide constant updates. In dreams, the updates come from memory and imagination. That is one reason dream objects can morph smoothly, like clay becoming a new shape. A lamp can turn into a moon, then into an eye, and your brain may accept it as natural. If you have ever noticed fast scene changes, you are noticing how flexible internal simulation can be. Now add emotion, and the dream world becomes even more persuasive. Emotion-related regions can be strongly engaged during many dreams, especially in REM sleep. This helps explain why a small event, like a brief glance, can feel deeply meaningful. A dream can make a minor detail feel like a life-defining moment. It is not because you are being dramatic. It is because the emotion system is amplifying the signal. In lab awakenings, dreams reported as intense often come with stronger signs of emotional engagement. This is one reason dreams are remembered as feelings as much as images. Sometimes you wake and cannot recall the plot, but the mood stays. That mood can be calm, uneasy, joyful, or strangely nostalgic. Your brain also simulates your body in dreams, even when your muscles are mostly still. Motor planning regions can show activity patterns that resemble rehearsal. That does not mean you are secretly moving. It suggests the brain is practicing possibilities. It is similar to mental rehearsal when awake, but deeper and less supervised. This may be one reason sleep can support skill refinement without deliberate practice. A musician might dream of finger movements. An athlete might dream of running. The body stays protected by sleep-related muscle quieting, while the brain explores patterns safely. Some researchers see this as the brain keeping its internal models tuned. You can imagine it as quiet maintenance on the maps your brain uses to act in the world. Dream movement can also be symbolic, like flying or falling without real muscle action. Even then, your balance and motion systems can be strongly convinced. That is why a dream fall can jolt you awake with a real body reaction. Now, before we go deeper, take a small mental poll with no typing at all. In your mind, choose one. Your dreams feel more visual, more emotional, or more like thoughts. Hold your choice gently, because different networks can dominate different dream styles. Some dreams are image-heavy, like film scenes. Some are emotion-heavy, like pure mood. Some are thought-like, with inner speech and ideas more than pictures. This variety supports the idea that dreaming is not one single thing. It is a shifting blend of perception, memory, emotion, and self-modeling. The same person can have different dream styles across different nights. And the same night can contain different styles across different stages. Now let's talk about why dream logic can feel so relaxed. In many dreams, the brain areas used for strict planning and reality checking are less active. These prefrontal systems help you question, compare, and notice contradictions when awake. When their influence is reduced, odd events can feel normal in the moment. A talking dog may seem reasonable, not because you believe in it, but because the doubt system is quiet. A room can be both your childhood home and your current apartment, and the mind does not protest. Dream scenes can jump without explanation, and you simply continue. This suggests the brain is prioritizing meaning and emotion over perfect continuity. It is as if the dream is asking, "What does this feel like?" instead of, "Does this add up?" Reality monitoring can also be weaker during sleep. Reality monitoring is the brain's skill of tagging an experience as imagined or real. When that tag is faint, the dream can feel immersive, like waking life. You may not think this is a dream. You think this is happening. This is one reason dreams can be persuasive, even when they are impossible. It also explains why waking up can feel like stepping out of a complete world. Your sense of self is also more flexible in dreams. Sometimes you are fully yourself, with your usual body and history. Sometimes you are a different age or a different person, with no surprise at all. Sometimes you are an observer, watching the scene like a camera. This suggests that the brain's self-model can be remixed, depending on which cues are active. Identity cues include your body feeling, your memories, your goals, and your point of view. In dreams, those cues can be shuffled, and the story still runs. This is not random chaos. It is the brain generating a coherent feeling from whatever ingredients are available. Coherence in dreams often means emotional coherence, not logical coherence. The dream may keep the feeling consistent, even if the setting changes completely. That is why a dream can feel like one long mood traveling through different costumes. Brain imaging cannot read the exact content of a dream like a screen. It can only show which regions are more or less active and how networks communicate. So we should be careful. These findings are strong clues, not perfect proof of cause. Still, the patterns repeat across many studies and methods, including sleep lab awakenings and brain recordings. Together, they support a grounded picture of the dream-making brain. Dreams recruit real perception and emotion systems, then loosen the strict manager in the front of the brain. That mix can create a vivid world with flexible logic and strong feeling. And sometimes, briefly, parts of the manager wake up again. When metacognition returns, you might notice the strangeness and realize you are dreaming. That is the doorway to lucid dreaming, which we will explore later gently and safely. For now, just remember this: your dreaming brain is your waking brain, reconfigured. Same tools, different settings, and a softer grip on reality checks. Next, we will add the chemistry layer, the neurotransmitter shifts that quietly change the tone of the entire dream. Now we add a quieter layer, chemistry. Not scary chemistry, just the brain's dimmer switches. If brain networks are the paintbrushes, neurotransmitters are the lighting in the studio. They do not decide your dream plot line by line. They tilt the whole experience towards certain feelings and styles. One reason dreams change across the night is that the brain's chemical mix changes across the night too. REM sleep has a distinctive chemical profile, and it helps explain the familiar dream flavor many people notice. During REM, acetylcholine activity tends to be relatively high compared with many other sleep periods. Acetylcholine supports cortical activation, which is a calm way to say the brain stays internally online. When acetylcholine is high, internally generated imagery can become clearer and more immersive. It is one reason a dream can look detailed, like it has lighting, texture, and depth. At the same time in REM, serotonin activity is usually low compared with wakefulness. Serotonin is involved in mood regulation and many kinds of stability in waking life. Low serotonin during REM may contribute to the feeling that emotions can swing without much warning. Also low in REM is norepinephrine, which is linked with alertness and external vigilance. When norepinephrine is low, the brain is less tuned to scanning the outside world for threats. That reduced external vigilance can make the dream world feel self-contained and complete. It can also help explain why you rarely question the oddness of a dream while it is happening. When the usual "are we safe" signal is quiet, the mind can stay in the story. This does not mean REM is dangerous. It means the brain is prioritizing inward processing over outward monitoring. Another chemical player is dopamine, which can still contribute during sleep. Dopamine is linked with salience, meaning what feels important and worth attention. That can explain why a small dream detail can feel like it matters a lot in the moment. A random object can feel charged with meaning, even if you cannot explain why. Dopamine can also relate to motivation-like themes such as searching, winning, escaping, or chasing a goal. If you have dreams with strong urges, dopamine may be part of the background tone. None of these chemicals work alone. They interact, and the mix can vary across people and nights. So when we say a chemical is high or low, it is a gentle summary, not a rigid rule. Researchers build these summaries from decades of recordings, brain measurements, and careful sleep studies. They also compare what changes when a chemical system is nudged by medication or illness. This is where we see how biologically sensitive dreaming can be. If your brain chemistry shifts, your dreams can shift, sometimes dramatically. Now let's talk about a famous feature of REM sleep: muscle atonia. Muscle atonia means the big voluntary muscles are largely muted during REM. It is one reason most people do not act out their dreams physically. The brain can simulate running, but the legs stay mostly still. This muting is supported by brainstem circuitry that sends inhibitory signals downward. Those signals reduce movement output at the level of the spinal cord. It is like the brain is letting the simulation play while keeping the body parked safely. You may still see small movements like twitches, breathing changes, or facial expressions. But the large, deliberate movements are usually held back during normal REM. In rare cases, that safety system can be weaker, and a person may move more during dreams. That is something a sleep clinician can evaluate, especially if it is frequent or risky. For most listeners, it is simply a reassuring design feature of the sleep system. Now, a gentle check-in. If you feel sleepier during this chemistry section, that is common. Sometimes the body relaxes when the topic matches the body's pace. If your eyelids feel heavy, you do not need to fight it. Let the words soften into the background. Dream intensity also changes because chemical systems respond to stress, circadian timing, and prior sleep loss. Stress can shift arousal systems, even while you are asleep. That can color dreams toward urgency, conflict, or heightened emotion. On calmer days, dreams may feel slower, simpler, or more neutral. Sleep loss can also change the balance of stages and the chemical backdrop that comes with them. After short sleep, Some people experience stronger REM pressure the next time they sleep. When REM returns in a rebound, dreams can feel unusually vivid or dense. The same idea can happen with substances that suppress REM for a while. When the suppressing effect fades, REM can return with extra intensity for some people. This is not a moral lesson. It is the brain balancing its internal rhythm. Now we move from neurotransmitters to hormones, which are slower messengers in the body. Hormones circulate through the bloodstream and coordinate broad states like energy, stress, and timing. They do not write dream scenes either. They tint the canvas. One hormone that matters for timing is melatonin. Melatonin helps signal biological night and coordinate circadian rhythms. Your brain makes more melatonin in darkness, and light exposure can reduce it. That is why bright light late at night can shift sleep timing and indirectly shift dream timing. It is not that melatonin creates dreams. It helps schedule when the stages are likely to cluster. Another hormone that follows a daily rhythm is cortisol. Cortisol is often called a stress hormone, but it also supports normal daily energy regulation. In many people, cortisol is low at night and rises toward morning. That rise can overlap with longer late-night REM periods for some sleepers. So morning dreams may come with a body that is already drifting toward wakefulness. That can make dreams feel more vivid or easier to remember, simply because the brain is closer to alert. If you have ever woken from a morning dream feeling emotionally charged, cortisol rhythm may be part of the backdrop. But remember, this varies widely. Some people have quiet mornings and intense midnight dreams. The body state also matters. Hunger, thirst, and temperature can all send subtle signals into sleep. These signals may not appear as literal sensations. They may become symbols or moods in dreams. A warm room might push dreams toward restlessness. A cool room might push dreams toward cozy shelter. When you are sick, the body's signals can become louder. Illness, fever, and inflammation are often linked with unusually vivid or strange dreams. Many people describe fever dreams as intense, fragmented, or surreal. One explanation is that fever changes arousal levels and body sensations at the same time. The brain may incorporate those odd signals into dream imagery in creative ways. Fever can also fragment sleep, creating more brief awakenings that increase recall. So illness can change both the dream content and the chance you remember it. Medication can also change dream vividness or nightmare frequency for some people. This is a reminder that dreaming is not only psychological, it is deeply biological. Medications that affect serotonin, norepinephrine, dopamine, or acetylcholine may shift dream tone. Some people notice more vivid dreams. Others notice fewer dream memories. Some notice no change at all. If you ever notice a sudden dream change after a new medication, it can be worth mentioning to your clinician. Do not adjust prescriptions on your own based on dreams alone. Sleep is also affected by alcohol and other sedatives, and their timing matters. Alcohol can make you feel sleepy at first, but it often fragments sleep later. It can suppress REM earlier in the night and then lead to REM rebound as it wears off. When rebound happens, some people report more intense dreaming or more awakenings with vivid scenes. This is one reason a night that starts drowsy can end with restless, memorable dreams. Other sedating substances can have similar patterns, depending on how they affect the brain. The key idea is not fear. The key idea is sensitivity. Dreaming responds to the body's chemistry the way a lake responds to wind. A small shift can change the surface pattern, even if the lake is the same lake. Now let's connect chemistry back to your experience in a gentle, practical way. If your dreams are unusually intense on one night, it may reflect a temporary chemical state. Stress, sickness, late light, sleep loss, or substances can all tilt the dream filter. If your dreams are unusually quiet, the filter may have tilted the other direction. Neither outcome says anything deep about your character. It is often just biology in motion. A useful thought is that your brain is always balancing priorities, restoration, learning, emotion, and timing. Chemistry is one of the ways it balances those priorities without asking your permission. That is why dream themes can feel surprising, like the brain is choosing on its own. In a way, it is. It is doing nightly maintenance using the tools it has. One more micro-engagement just for your mind. Notice which feels truer tonight. Do your dreams feel like stories, like sensations, or like drifting thoughts? That answer can change from night to night as chemistry shifts. In the next section, we will compare the two big dream flavors most people notice. We will look at REM-style stories and non-REM-style thinking, and why both can be real dreaming. In sleep research, dreams come in more than one style, and sleep stage shapes the feel. Tonight, we will compare two common styles, REM dreams and non-REM dreams. This is not a strict wall with two boxes. It is more like a spectrum with familiar clusters. Still, the contrast can be useful because it explains many everyday dream experiences. Let's start with REM, the stage many people associate with vivid dreaming. REM dreams are often reported as more visual, more immersive, and more emotional. Many people describe REM dreams as story-driven with characters, settings, and a sense of movement. It can feel like you are inside a scene, not just thinking about a scene. In the lab, awakenings from REM tend to produce richer dream reports on average. Researchers hear more imagery, more action, and more social interaction after REM awakenings. That is an average, not a guarantee. Some REM dreams are quiet, and some non-REM dreams are complex, but the overall pattern shows up again and again in controlled awakenings. One signature of REM is rapid eye movements under the eyelids. Those eye movements correlate with active internal processing, but they do not prove you are watching a movie. Sometimes the eyes may reflect scanning in the dream, and sometimes they may reflect brainstem rhythms. So it is better to think of them as a marker of the stage, not a window into the exact plot. REM also includes muscle atonia, meaning the big voluntary muscles are mostly muted. This helps prevent acting out most dream movements in healthy sleepers, so you can dream of running, climbing, or dancing while your body stays safely still. You might still have small twitches, shifts in breathing, or subtle facial expressions. But the large movements are generally held back during typical REM physiology. REM dreams also tend to carry strong emotion, even when the event is small. A simple conversation can feel enormous, like it decides something important. That emotional amplification is part of why REM dreams can linger after waking. Sometimes you remember the feeling longer than the details. REM dreams often include more vivid color, though some people report mostly muted tones. They also often include more social scenes, like being with friends, strangers, or crowds. That social emphasis fits with the brain practicing relationships and meaning in a safe simulation. Now, let's talk about time, because dream time is one of the strangest parts of dreaming. In dreams, time can feel stretched, compressed, or oddly elastic. A short moment can feel like a long journey, and a long event can vanish in a blink. Yet, careful research suggests many dream narratives roughly track real minutes more often than people expect. In some studies, people in lucid dreams can signal with planned eye movements while still asleep. Those signals allow researchers to compare dream events with clock time in the lab. The results suggest that some dreamed actions unfold close to real time, especially simple actions. But dream editing is still powerful, so the felt timeline can differ from the measured timeline. A dream can skip the boring parts without warning, like a film cut. This is one reason you may feel you lived an hour, yet only slept a few minutes in that stage. Another REM feature is how easily external sounds can be woven into the dream. If a sound happens in your room, the brain may reinterpret it as something inside the story. An alarm can become a doorbell, a siren, or music in a distant street. A partner shifting in bed can become footsteps in the dream hallway. This shows the brain's talent for fitting new input into whatever narrative is already running. It is not perfect, but it is surprisingly creative. Sometimes the dream incorporates the sound instantly. Sometimes it reshapes the story after a short delay. This is a calm reminder that you are not sealed off from the world during sleep. You are just less responsive and more interpretive. Now pause for a gentle mental poll with no need to decide strongly. Which do you get more often, story dreams or thought dreams? Just pick one in your mind and keep it for later when we discuss recall. Now we move to non-REM dreaming, which many people underestimate. Non-REM dreams can be quieter, more conceptual, and sometimes more like thinking than watching. They often feel like fragments, impressions, or simple scenes with fewer dramatic turns. But non-REM dreams can still be meaningful, emotional, and even vivid. The difference is often in style, not in value. Deep non-REM is associated with slow waves and reduced responsiveness to the outside world. When you wake from deep non-REM, you may feel disoriented for a moment. That disorientation can reduce detailed recall, even if a dream was present. It is like trying to remember a sentence while still half underwater. This groggy transition can make the mind feel blank, even when it was active seconds ago. So sometimes the issue is not dreaming. It is access and timing. During lighter non-REM, dream recall can be easier than during deep non-REM. Night awakenings from lighter non-REM can capture coherent fragments, like a snapshot or short scene. This suggests recall depends partly on arousal level at the moment you wake. If you wake gently near the surface of sleep, you may grab more of what was happening. If you are pulled up from deep sleep, you may lose the thread quickly. Non-REM dream reports often include planning, problem thoughts, or simple realistic situations. You might dream you are organizing a room, preparing for a meeting, or looking for something. These dreams can feel closer to waking concerns, but still have odd bends and jumps. Some non-REM dreams are more like inner speech with fewer images and more ideas. Others are image-based, especially in lighter non-REM, where the mind can still paint scenes. This is why the REM versus non-REM split is not absolute. It is a spectrum of imagery and thought that shifts across the night. Another bridge into dreamlike experience happens right at sleep onset. This is called hypnagogic imagery, and it can arrive as you are drifting off. Hypnagogic imagery can include brief flashes, faces, patterns, or tiny scenes. It often feels like a short slideshow you did not request. You might see a sudden staircase, a random animal, or a floating shape, then it fades. It can also include sound like a word, a name, or a soft burst of music. Sometimes it includes the sensation of falling, which can cause a quick body jolt. Hypnagogic moments are not a sign of anything wrong. They are a common edge state. They show how the brain transitions from outward attention to inward simulation. There is also an edge state near waking that can carry dream imagery into the room. Some people notice brief dream fragments while they are waking up, especially after morning sleep. These edge moments can feel more lucid because part of the waking mind is returning. Now, compare the emotional tone across stages in a gentle way. REM dreams often feel emotionally loud, like the volume knob is turned up. Non-REM dreams often feel emotionally quieter, like a low hum, rather than a sharp peak. But again, there are exceptions, especially after stress or when sleep is fragmented. Nightmares can occur in REM or non-REM, depending on the type and the person. Night terrors, which we will cover later, are more linked with deep non-REM arousal patterns. For now, we focus on ordinary dreaming, not the scary edge cases. A useful way to think about the two styles is texture. REM dreams often have a smooth, cinematic texture with shifting camera angles and strong feelings. Non-REM dreams often have a sketch-like texture with fewer details and more concept. Neither texture is better. They are simply different outputs of the same brain. Sometimes a night contains both styles and your recall picks only one. You may remember a vivid REM story and forget the quieter non-REM thoughts earlier. Or you may remember a simple non-REM scene because you woke during it. This is why people can disagree about what dreams are like. They are often describing different slices of the same night. Researchers use content analysis frameworks to compare dream reports across stages. They look at features like imagery, emotion, social interaction, and narrative structure. Across many studies, REM reports tend to score higher on visual richness and story flow. Across many studies, NREM reports tend to score higher on thought, like content and realism. But the overlap is important because it shows the brain can dream in many modes. So when someone says, "I only dream in REM," they often mean, "I only remember REM-style dreams." And when someone says, "I never have stories," they may be waking from different stages. Now, one more quiet detail about external input. External sounds and sensations can enter both REM and NREM dreams, but REM may remix them more dramatically. In NREM, the brain may incorporate input in a simpler way, like a thought about a sound. In REM, the brain may transform the sound into a whole scene, like a concert or a chase. Either way, the sleeping brain is interpreting, not just receiving. Now let's connect this to your own pattern without asking you to do anything. If your dreams are mostly story-driven, you may be catching more REM awakenings. If your dreams are mostly thought-like, you may be catching more NREM awakenings. If you rarely remember dreams, your awakenings may miss the moments when recall is easiest. And if you remember dreams from naps, you may be waking from light sleep or late-stage dreaming during the nap. The main takeaway is calm and simple. Dreams have multiple styles across the night. REM often leans vivid, emotional, and narrative with muscle atonia protecting the body. NREM can be quieter and more conceptual, with fragments and thoughts that still count as dreaming. Both can include emotion, imagery, and meaning, because the same brain is doing the work. If dreams can feel real in both stages, why do they convince us so easily? Next, we will explore realism and dream reality, and why the sleeping mind believes the scene. Dream realism can be startling. Some dreams feel more solid than a memory from yesterday. If that has ever happened to you, just notice it gently and let it pass. The reason dreams can feel real starts with a simple idea from neuroscience. Perception is not a direct recording of the world. It is a construction. Even when you are awake, your brain is constantly predicting what you are about to see and feel. It uses your senses as input, but it also fills gaps with expectation and prior experience. Most of the time, this feels seamless, like reality is simply arriving whole. But under the hood, your brain is always guessing and adjusting. In everyday life, the outside world provides strong correction signals. If you expect silence and you hear a loud sound, your brain updates quickly. If you expect a flat floor and you step on a stair, your body corrects. In dreams, those correction signals are reduced. Your eyes are closed and the outside world is muffled. So the same prediction machinery that supports waking perception can dominate the whole experience. In a dream, prediction does not just fill gaps. It becomes the entire scene. That is why dream textures can feel convincing. You can feel the grain of wood, the weight of a door handle, or the warmth of sunlight. You can hear a voice with a specific tone, even if the person is not present. You can see space and depth, as if your mind has a real camera. These are not magical powers. They are normal perception tools running without outside constraints. Your brain is very good at building worlds because it has practiced all day, every day, for your whole life. Another reason dreams feel real is emotion. Emotion acts like a highlighter in the brain. When emotion is strong, the brain tags the experience as important. Important experiences feel vivid, urgent, and real, even if details are strange. In a dream, a small event can trigger a big emotional response. That emotional response can lock your attention to the scene and make it feel undeniable. It is like the dream is saying, "Pay attention. This matters." Even if, on waking, you realize it was a strange mix of symbols. Now add memory blending and dream realism becomes even more convincing. Dreams often borrow fragments from stored experiences. A face may carry features from someone you know and someone you saw once in passing. A place may borrow the layout of one room and the lighting of another. This can create impossible familiarity. You may walk into a brand new dream building and feel, this is home. The feeling of home comes from matching patterns, not from the building being real. Your brain recognizes fragments and stamps the whole scene as familiar. This is efficient, but in dreams it can make the unreal feel completely normal. Now we come to reality testing, the mental habit of checking. Does this make sense? When awake, reality testing is supported by systems that compare evidence and flag contradictions. In many dreams, that comparison system is quieter, so contradictions do not trigger the same surprise signal they might in waking life. You may accept that you can breathe underwater or that gravity changed. You may accept that your friend is suddenly your teacher and it seems fine. Dream logic can be loose because the brain is prioritizing meaning and momentum over strict consistency. This is not a flaw. It is a mode. It is the brain exploring associations without demanding a courtroom-level proof for each detail. Some researchers describe dreams as a kind of simulation. Not a perfect simulation, but a useful one, built from predictions and memories. In waking life, simulation helps you plan, avoid danger, and understand others. In sleep, simulation can run with fewer limits, which makes it creative and sometimes strange. Now let's connect this to your body, because realism is not only visual. Dreams can feel real because you also feel like you have a body inside them. Even while the real body is mostly still, the brain can generate a stable body map. That body map is your sense of where you are, what you can do, and how you are moving. It is why you can run, fly, or float in a dream and feel the motion. The dream body is not a ghost. It is the brain's internal model of the body. Your brain keeps that model updated all day so you can move smoothly. At night, it can keep running the model, even without real movement input. This is one reason dream movement can feel effortless and believable. You are using the same internal navigation and coordination systems, just in imagination mode. The sleeping body also sends signals, and some of those signals can leak into dream content. Your brain never fully turns off body sensing. It lowers the volume, but it still monitors things like pressure, breathing, and temperature. If your arm is pressed in an awkward way, the pressure cue might show up as a dream obstacle. If you are too warm, the dream might drift toward heat, sun, or crowded rooms. If a blanket shifts, it might become wind, water, or someone touching your shoulder. This is not always literal. The brain interprets sensations through the story it is already building. Breathing changes can appear in dreams too. If your breathing becomes shallow, a dream might include narrow spaces, underwater scenes, or running uphill. If your nose is stuffy, you might dream of a thick fog or a hard-to-open door. A full bladder can become a search for a bathroom in the dream world. Many people have had that dream where every bathroom is strange, far away, or out of order. The body signal is real, but the dream interpretation can be wildly creative. This is the brain trying to solve a problem without fully waking you. Sometimes it succeeds and you stay asleep. Sometimes it pushes you toward waking. Sleep position can nudge dream themes in subtle ways too. If you sleep on your back, some people report more vivid sensations or more awareness of their body. If you sleep curled, you may feel more enclosed, and the dream may match that feeling. The environment influences content without needing your conscious attention. A distant sound can become a soundtrack. A dog barking can become a crowd noise in a stadium. A faint vibration can become a train, a phone, or a purring animal. Dreams are not sealed away. They are a live interpretation of internal and external hints. Now, a curious detail about touch and pain in dreams. Dreams can include touch, movement, and pain-like sensations. But pain is reported less often than many other sensations. That suggests selective gating, meaning the brain filters some signals more than others. You may feel pressure or movement more easily than sharp pain. Still, pain can appear, especially if there is real discomfort in the body. A cramped muscle might become a dream injury. A headache might become a heavy helmet or a tight band. Again, the brain tries to fit sensation into narrative. Now consider what happens when you wake. Waking is not only opening your eyes, it is a rapid switch in support systems. The brain reorients to external reality very quickly. Sensory input floods back in, and the internal simulation loses priority. That is why the dream can fade in seconds. It is not that the dream was weak. It is that the brain has changed tasks. The dream depends on the sleeping mode to stay stable. When the mode shifts, the scene loses its scaffolding and falls away. This is also why grabbing a dream memory is time-sensitive. If you think, "I will remember it later," the waking brain may overwrite the fragile trace. A gentle trick is to hold one image or one feeling for a moment before moving. But you do not need to do that tonight. We will talk about recall later in a calmer way. For now, the main idea is that dream realism is built from normal brain functions. Perception is construction. Prediction fills gaps. Emotion highlights. Memory blends patterns. Reality testing is quieter. The body model stays online. Body signals leak in and get interpreted. Put together, you get a world that feels real from the inside. Not because you were fooled, but because your brain is doing what it is built to do. And sometimes it does it so well that the dream feels more real than a waking moment. If that happens, it is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of a powerful simulator. Next, we will connect dreams to emotion and stress. We will explore why certain worries repeat at night and why some dreams soothe rather than scare. Quick, cozy check-in with no pressure to do anything perfectly. If you are already drifting, you can ignore this and just keep listening. If you are still awake, let your jaw unclench a little. Let your teeth rest apart and let your tongue sit softly behind your front teeth. Now lower your shoulders by a small amount, like you are setting down a light bag. Let your hands feel heavy, even if they are resting on your blanket. If your eyebrows are tense, smooth them gently, as if you are letting go of a tiny frown. Take one slow breath in through your nose, if that feels comfortable, and let it out like a quiet sigh, without forcing the air. Now do a tiny scan from your face to your feet. Notice where the bed supports you and let that support do more of the work. If you need to adjust your pillow or blanket, do it slowly, like a small kindness. Many people fall asleep more easily when the room is a little cooler and the light is low. So if you want, dim your screen a touch more or turn it away from your face. Now choose one simple word for tonight's theme. You can pick calm, you can pick curious, or you can pick quiet. Hold your word like a soft label, not a goal. If thoughts about tomorrow appear, let them pass and return to your one word. Good. Now that your body is a little softer, we will move into the emotional side of dreaming. That is the part where many people recognize themselves most clearly. Dreams are often less about perfect plot and more about feeling. A simple scene can carry a strong emotional charge, like the dream is speaking in mood first. One reason is that emotion systems in the brain can stay quite engaged during sleep. At the same time, strict logic and reality checking can be softer than usual. So a small dream moment can feel huge, even if it looks ordinary on paper. If you have ever woken up with a lingering mood, that is a common pattern. Sometimes you cannot recall the story, but you remember the emotion like a scent in the air. Dream researchers often find that dream reports contain emotion more often than people expect, and social emotions show up especially often. Embarrassment is common in dreams, even for confident people. So is belonging, rejection, admiration, jealousy, and the ache of being misunderstood. This makes sense, because the human brain treats relationships as high-priority information. Even a small social cue can feel like safety or danger to the nervous system. Dreams can replay those cues in exaggerated form, like practice with the volume turned up. Now here is a gentle idea that many studies support in different ways. Dreams often carry what some researchers call day residue. That means pieces of your day or your emotions from the day show up at night, but they do not always show up as literal replays. A tense email might become a dream about missing a train. A minor awkward moment might become a dream about speaking to a crowd. The plot changes, but the feeling stays. That is why dreams can feel symbolic without trying to be mystical. The brain may be preserving the emotion theme, not the exact event. This can also happen with positive emotions. Soothing dreams and calm dreams are real, and they can be surprisingly gentle. Some dreams feel like a warm visit, a quiet walk, or a peaceful room. Calm dream content often fits with safety cues and a lower stress load. When the body feels safer, the dream world often feels safer too. That is not a promise, just a common trend people report. Stress can tilt the dream filter toward darker tones for many people. During uncertainty, dreams may contain more threat themes, more urgency, or more conflict. Sleep disruption can amplify this, because fragmented sleep can intensify emotion and boost recall. If you wake more often, you catch more dream moments, including the intense ones. So stressful periods can feel like they produce more dreams when they may produce more remembered dreams. Another pattern is emotional mismatch. A dream can make you cry over something that seems trivial in the light of morning. That does not mean you are weak or overreacting. It means the dream brain is not using the same emotional calibration as your daytime brain. In dreams, emotion can be the main signal and plot is the wrapper. This is also why some dreams feel like they are about one thing, but emotionally about another. A dream about losing your phone can feel like abandonment. A dream about a messy room can feel like shame. Again, not because the symbols are universal, but because the feeling is the core ingredient. Now, a quiet engagement prompt, just for your own mind. If you could label last week's dreams with one emotion, what would it be? You can answer tomorrow in a comment if you want, even with one word. This helps you notice patterns without analyzing them too hard. Dream emotions can also loop into the next day. A disturbing dream can make the morning feel tense, even after a normal night of sleep. A soothing dream can make the morning feel lighter, as if the mind had a soft landing. This can create a feedback loop between mood, stress, sleep quality, and dream tone. If you are under stress, sleep can fragment, dreams can feel sharper, and the next day can feel heavier. If the next day feels heavier, stress rises again, and the loop can continue. The calming part is that loops can also improve. Better sleep can lower stress signals, which can soften dream tone over time for many people. Now we move into a theory that is popular, but still debated in details. Some models suggest dreaming, especially during REM, may help regulate emotion. The basic idea is not that dreams solve problems like a therapist. The idea is that the brain revisits emotional memories in a different chemical state. In REM, certain stress-related chemicals are lower than in alert waking life, so the brain may be able to activate emotional material with less full body alarm. In simple terms, it might be like watching a strong memory with the volume turned down. This could help the brain refile the memory with less sharp emotional sting. Researchers also study fear learning and fear extinction in sleep contexts. Fear learning is how the brain associates a cue with danger. Fear extinction is how the brain learns that the cue can be safe again. Some sleep studies suggest that sleep can influence how strongly emotional memories are stored and retrieved. And some findings suggest REM sleep may play a role in processing emotional memory content. But the field is careful, because sleep, emotion, and memory are tangled together. It is hard to separate what is cause and what is side effect. Still, a practical takeaway remains steady. Dreams are often connected to emotional processing, even if we cannot map every step. Now, we should also name a more serious pattern with care. After trauma, some people experience persistent distressing dreams. The content may be literal or symbolic, but the distress is the key feature, not hidden meaning. This kind of dreaming can be part of post-traumatic stress disorder for some people. If that is familiar to you, you deserve support that feels safe and grounded. For tonight, we will not go into graphic details, and we will keep the tone gentle. We will treat dreams as biology and emotion, not as a test you must pass. In many populations, chronic stress is linked with more frequent nightmares. This suggests emotion systems can overheat when recovery is incomplete. Nightmares are not just scary stories. They are intense emotional events during sleep. And like other intense events, they can be remembered more strongly. One reason is that strong emotion tags memories as important. Another reason is that nightmares often end in waking, which boosts recall. So nightmare frequency can rise when stress rises for multiple reasons at once. Now, let's return to the calmer middle ground where most dreams live. Most dreams are mixed, with small stress and small comfort blended together. You might dream of being late, then find help. You might dream of searching, then arrive. Even that pattern can mirror emotion regulation, moving from tension toward resolution. Not all dreams resolve, of course, and that is normal too. Sometimes a dream ends mid-scene because you shift stage or roll over. Your brain does not always finish the story because it is not trying to write a novel. It is running short simulations and emotional snapshots. If you want a gentle way to relate to dream emotion, try this. Instead of asking, "What does it mean?" ask, "What did it feel like?" Name the feeling softly, then let it go. This keeps you from spiraling into analysis in the middle of the night. And it respects what the brain may be doing, which is processing, not performing. Dreams can replay feelings because feelings are powerful data. They guide attention, memory, and learning in waking life. At night, those systems keep working, just in a different mode. So dreams may amplify emotion, reuse daily residue, and practice social scenarios. They may also, in some theories, help reduce the sharpness of emotional memories over time. With emotion in view, we can ask the next question. What is the brain doing with memories while you dream? Now we turn to memory, one of the most quietly useful reasons we sleep. A helpful image is a sorting room. All day, your brain collects impressions, skills, facts, and feelings. At night, it does not store everything the same way. It sorts, strengthens, reorganizes, and sometimes lets go. Sleep supports memory consolidation, which is the process of stabilizing and improving what you learned. This happens in more than one kind of learning. Declarative learning is remembering facts and events like names, places, and what happened today. Procedural learning is remembering how to do things, like typing, playing an instrument, or a new sports move. Studies often show that performance on certain skills improves after sleep. Sometimes the improvement happens even when you did not practice again. That suggests the brain is refining patterns offline while you rest. People sometimes notice this in dreams. After intensive training, some people dream about the skill or parts of it. A pianist might dream of keys. A gamer might dream of a level. A dancer might dream of motion. This lines up with the idea that the sleeping brain is replaying and reorganizing patterns from waking life. But here is an important calm detail. Not all consolidation shows up as dream scenes. A lot of learning can be processed silently, with no memorable dream at all. So dream absence is not learning absence. If you do not dream about a skill, the brain may still be strengthening it. Dreams can reflect processing without being the cause of the processing. That is a useful way to keep expectations gentle and realistic. Dream content often mixes recent events with older memories. This mixing suggests the brain may be linking new information to existing networks. A new coworker might appear in your childhood home. A recent conversation might borrow the tone of an older relationship. This is not random. It can be the brain searching for where new information fits. It tests associations, sees what matches, and keeps what helps. In dream research, there is a repeated pattern: day residue. Day residue means recent experiences appear in altered form, not as perfect replays. A stressful commute might become a dream of moving through a maze. A new idea might become a dream of rearranging objects on a shelf. The surface story changes, but the memory ingredients are still there. This is a gentle hint that dreams are not trying to show you the past. They may be showing you the brain working with the past. Some researchers describe sleep as a time when memory traces are reactivated. The brain can replay patterns related to what you learned earlier. This replay can support consolidation, especially when repeated over many nights. In some models, the hippocampus helps tag new experiences during the day. Then, during sleep, those tags can help coordinate replay with the cortex. The cortex is where longer-term knowledge is more widely distributed, so sleep can be a time when short-term traces become more integrated with older knowledge. This integration is one reason you can remember the gist of a day, even if details fade. Now, a low-stakes question you can answer silently. Have you ever woken with a solution or a new idea without trying? Hold that thought, because creativity is next. But it also fits memory sorting. The brain can keep working while you rest. Dreams can sometimes feel like a sampling process. You get many fragments, but only a few get kept as stable recall. That matches the idea that the brain tests associations and keeps what matters. In other words, dreaming can look messy because the sorting room is busy. A sorting room has piles, not a finished display. Now we add a second side of memory that often surprises people. Sleep also helps forgetting. Forgetting sounds negative, but it can be protective and useful. If you kept every detail equally strong, your mind would feel noisy and overloaded. One set of theories suggests that sleep helps downscale synapses. That means connections may be gently reduced overall, so the important ones stand out. Another way to say it is signal-to-noise improvement. Important memories become clearer relative to background clutter. This may help you learn efficiently over time, instead of filling up with useless detail. The brain tends to prioritize what matters for goals and safety. Emotional memories can be prioritized because they often contain information about danger or belonging. That does not mean every emotional moment becomes permanent. It means emotion is one cue the brain uses to decide what to strengthen. Now consider what happens when sleep is interrupted. Interrupted sleep can impair consolidation in many studies. When consolidation is impaired, people can feel more scattered, more forgetful, and more worried. And worry can increase rumination, which is one of the things that keeps people awake. So there can be a loop. Poor sleep weakens memory processing, and stress rises and sleep gets harder. The comforting part is that improving sleep quality often helps break that loop over time. Even small improvements can help the mind feel less sticky with worry. Now, let's talk about a fascinating line of research called targeted memory reactivation. In these studies, researchers pair a learning experience with a subtle cue, like a soft sound or an odor. Later during sleep, the cue is presented quietly again, without waking the person. The cue can bias what is strengthened, as if it nudges the brain toward that memory set. This does not mean you can program your brain like a machine. The effects are modest and depend on careful conditions. But it supports the broader idea that the sleeping brain is actively processing memories. It also shows that sleep is not a passive blackout. It is an active state with selective work happening under the surface. Sometimes people wonder if dream content is a direct window into consolidation. The best answer is careful and calm. Dreams can reflect what the brain is working on, but they are not a clean report. They are more like a collage made while the brain reorganizes. You might see the material in disguised form mixed with older pieces, or you might see nothing that seems related while consolidation still happens. So it is useful to separate two ideas. Sleep supports learning and memory consolidation. Dreams may sometimes mirror that work, but dreams are not required for the work to happen. Now let's ground this in everyday examples. If you study a language, sleep can help stabilize new words and patterns. But your dreams might not include vocabulary lists. Instead, you might dream of talking with people or being in a place where the language is spoken. If you practice a sport, sleep can help refine timing and coordination. But your dream might only include the feeling of movement, not the exact drill. If you learn a new route, sleep can help stabilize spatial memory. But your dream might remix the route into a different city entirely. The brain may be practicing the structure, not the surface details. That is the sorting room again. Structure is kept, clutter is reduced. There is also evidence that sleep helps with generalization. Generalization is the ability to apply what you learned in one situation to a new one. This can feel like waking up with better intuition. Dreams, with their loose associations, may reflect that generalizing process. They often connect distant ideas, people, and places in one scene. That can look strange, but it may be the mind exploring how concepts relate. Again, we should not overclaim. Dreaming might be a side effect of the same processes that support consolidation, or it might contribute in some cases depending on the dream and the memory. Researchers are still mapping the details and different models compete, but the broad picture is steady. Sleep is a time for memory work, and dreaming is one of the visible ripples on the surface of that work. If you want a gentle way to use this knowledge, here is one. When you are learning something new, treat sleep as part of the practice, not as a strict tool, just as support. A consistent sleep routine often helps the brain consolidate more reliably. And if you dream about what you learned, you can treat it as a sign your brain is engaged. If you do not, you can still trust the sorting room is running. As you drift tonight, your brain is doing quiet filing, connecting, and pruning. It keeps what matters, softens what does not, and prepares you for tomorrow's learning. Next, we will visit a calmer cousin of memory, creativity, and we will explore why the dreaming mind can connect distant ideas so easily. Creativity in dreams can feel like a night shift your brain runs when you are off duty. Not every dream is creative, but the dream mind has a special talent. It relaxes constraints. When constraints loosen, distant ideas can sit next to each other and make new shapes. This is similar to how creative insight often works when you are awake. Insight is not always a lightning moment. Sometimes it is a quiet connection you did not plan. Dream narratives often combine distant concepts, like mixing two unrelated rooms into one house. A person from your past might speak with the voice of someone you met yesterday. A childhood street might contain a workplace building you have never visited. That blending can look silly, but it is also broad association in action. Broad association is useful for creativity because it increases the number of possible links. When the brain explores a larger space of links, it can stumble on a new fit. During waking life, executive control helps you stay on task. It helps you reject wrong ideas quickly and follow logic step by step. During dreaming, executive control is often softer. That means the brain can explore wrong ideas safely without the same inner critic. Wrong ideas are not useless. They are raw material. Many creative processes produce a lot of wrong drafts before one good draft appears. Dreaming can be like a draft generator, producing strange combinations without embarrassment. Sometimes those combinations are nonsense. Sometimes they are a surprising starting point. Sleep in general can improve performance on some insight and pattern tasks. In controlled studies, people sometimes solve certain problems better after sleep than after equal time awake. This supports the idea that offline processing can benefit cognition. It does not mean sleep makes you a genius overnight. It means the brain can reorganize information and make hidden links more accessible. Dreaming may be one window into that reorganizing, but not the only mechanism. Many of these benefits happen whether or not you remember a dream. So once again, recall is not the same thing as brain work. Now, a gentle engagement prompt to carry forward. Pick one common theme you have had: falling, being late, or searching for something. Just hold your choice lightly, because we will use it in the next section on recurring dreams. Back to creativity. One classic idea in dream research is dream incubation. Dream incubation means setting a gentle question before sleep, then letting it go. For some people, this can influence dream themes. The evidence is mixed and varies by person, but the general effect is plausible. If you seed the mind with a topic, the brain may be more likely to sample related memory fragments, but it is important to keep the approach light. Over-effort can wake you up, and good sleep matters more than perfect dreams. If you ever try incubation, the simplest version is one calm sentence. Something like, "Show me a new angle on this problem." Then release it and let your night do what it does. Some people report creative dreams after this kind of gentle intention. Others do not, and that is normal too. There is also a creative edge state at sleep onset called hypnagogia. Hypnagogia is the drifting zone between waking and sleep. In this zone, imagery and phrases can pop up with surprising originality. You might see a vivid shape or hear a strange sentence, then it dissolves. Many artists and inventors have described using this edge state for inspiration, but you do not need to chase it. If it happens naturally, it can be a pleasant source of odd ideas. Hypnagogic images can be abstract, like patterns and colors. They can also be more concrete, like faces or objects that flash briefly. Because you are half awake, you can sometimes catch these fragments and remember them. This is one reason a notebook by the bed can matter for creative people. But tonight, you do not need to write. Just listen and rest. Now, let's shift to a subtle point about problem solving. The creative benefit of dreams is often indirect. Dreams may not hand you a clean solution like a worksheet. Instead, they can change how you feel about a problem, and that emotional shift can make the next day feel easier. A problem that felt threatening can appear in a dream with a new emotional frame. Maybe you face it with help or in a safer setting. Maybe the dream turns it into a metaphor, like carrying a heavy bag or walking through fog. The metaphor can express the concern without literal detail. It is like mood language, not a literal report. This can reduce threat and make the waking mind less defensive. When threat is lower, creativity tends to rise. So even a strange dream can help by loosening fear and opening space. Dream metaphors can also highlight what your attention keeps circling, not because the dream is wise, but because attention has weight. If you keep thinking about something, your brain keeps sampling it at night. And sampling can change the emotional tone, especially across multiple nights. Now, remember that creative dreams are more likely to be recalled when waking timing lines up. If you wake during or right after a vivid dream, you are more likely to bring it with you. If you sleep through it, the dream may still have happened, but you may never know. So the link between dreams and creativity is partly a link between recall and timing. This is why some people get dream ideas during naps or early morning awakenings. Those are times when waking is closer to dreaming, and memory grabs are easier, but you do not need to engineer awakenings for creativity. Sleep quality is still the foundation. Another subtle point is what people remember from a creative dream. Often they remember the emotional lesson more than the plot. The dream might leave a feeling like relief, determination, or curiosity. That feeling can guide the next day's choices without any dramatic revelation. In other cases, a dream gives a specific image or phrase that becomes a seed. A musician might wake with a melody fragment. A writer might wake with a scene feeling. A scientist might wake with a new way to describe a problem. These reports exist, but they are not guaranteed and they are not easily forced. We should separate anecdote from experiment gently. Anecdotes show what is possible for individuals, Experiments show what is common on average. The strongest experimental support is that sleep can help certain kinds of insight and pattern learning. The weaker, more variable support is that a remembered dream itself directly causes the insight. Still, dreams can be helpful as a space for unusual combinations. They can also be helpful as a space where the inner critic is quieter. Now, a calming caution that matters for sleep-friendly listening. Over-focusing on controlling dreams can backfire for sleep. If you lie awake trying to direct the plot, you may increase arousal. Arousal is the opposite of what helps you drift off. So the most helpful approach is usually light intention, then release. You can invite creativity without gripping it. You can say, "It would be nice to see a new angle," and then let your body rest. If an idea arrives, you can enjoy it briefly. If nothing arrives, you still gain sleep, which supports creativity anyway. In this sense, sleep is already a creative practice. It resets attention, reduces noise, and helps memory become more flexible. Dreaming is one expression of that flexibility. So if you ever wake with a solution, you can smile at your brain's night shift. And if you do not, you can still trust that the night has been doing quiet work. From creativity, we move into patterns. Next, we will explore common themes and recurring dreams, and why certain stories return again and again. Now, we move into patterns, the kinds of dreams that show up again and again across many people. Before we begin, a calming disclaimer. If this topic feels heavy, you can let the facts play as background sound. You do not need to picture every example. Dream research includes large surveys where people report common themes. Across many surveys, a surprisingly similar set of themes appears. That does not mean the themes mean the same thing for everyone. It simply suggests the human brain has favorite templates for expressing feelings. A useful lens is the continuity idea. The continuity idea suggests dreams borrow material from waking life concerns and habits, not as perfect copies, but as emotional and social echoes. Another lens is efficiency. The brain may reuse templates because they quickly express a mood like worry, hope, relief, or pressure. If a template works, it gets reused. One very common pattern is hybrid locations. Dream settings often blend familiar places into one new place. You might be in a school that has your current kitchen inside it. You might be in your childhood neighborhood, but the streets lead to your office. This fits with the idea that memory maps are being recombined. The brain is not pulling one file. It is assembling a scene from many stored pieces. Hybrid places can also create the feeling of familiarity in a place that does not exist. Another common pattern is being late. Being late appears frequently in dream reports, especially during stressful periods. Sometimes it is late for work, sometimes for a train, sometimes for an event you cannot name. The theme often carries urgency and performance pressure. A cousin theme is being unprepared. Dreams about being unprepared can include missing an exam, forgetting a presentation, or lacking the right tools. Even people who have not been in school for years can still dream about exams. That does not mean you secretly miss school. It may simply be a ready-made template for performance evaluation. The brain knows how to simulate the feeling of being tested. Another common theme is being chased. Chase dreams can be dramatic or oddly quiet. Sometimes you know what is chasing you. Sometimes you only feel the pursuit. The chase theme can appear during times of uncertainty, but it can also appear with no clear trigger. In some theories, chase dreams fit a threat simulation model. Threat simulation suggests the brain practices danger responses in a low-cost virtual space. This idea is debated in details, but it offers a simple possibility. The brain may rehearse escape, hiding, or quick decision-making, even while asleep. A chase dream does not require a predator in your real life. It may reflect generalized alertness or a stress-loaded nervous system. Now consider falling dreams. Falling dreams are among the most commonly reported themes. They often occur around transitions between wake and sleep. A sudden shift in sensation can be interpreted as falling, especially at sleep onset. Sometimes a body jolt follows, as if the nervous system checks the body's position. Falling can also be emotional, like a sudden drop in certainty or control. Again, the dream uses a physical metaphor because the brain understands motion. Another set of common themes involves teeth, clothing, and public exposure. Dreams about teeth falling out, crumbling, or feeling loose are widely reported. Dreams about missing clothing, wearing the wrong clothes, or being exposed are also common. These themes may relate to social evaluation, which is a powerful human concern. Humans are wired to track status, belonging, and embarrassment signals, so dreams often build scenes where social judgment is front and center. A dream about being underdressed can carry the feeling of being seen too clearly. A dream about teeth can carry a feeling of vulnerability or loss of control. But it is important not to lock these into one universal meaning. For one person, teeth dreams might follow dental discomfort or a recent appointment. For another, they might show up during stress or without a clear cause. Themes are templates, not diagnoses. Dreams also frequently include searching for something. You search for a room, a phone, a person, a bag, or a path. Searching dreams are common because searching is a basic goal structure. The brain knows how to build a narrative around wanting and not yet having. Searching can also mirror a waking feeling of uncertainty or incomplete closure. Another common theme is losing your way. You are in a building and the exits keep changing. You are in a city and the streets do not match the map. This can reflect the brain's spatial systems and memory blending. When the dream scene is assembled from mixed pieces, navigation can become strange. Many dreams include social gatherings, even for introverts. Parties, meetings, classrooms, and crowds appear often in surveys. Social life is a high-priority simulation target because it affects safety and goals. Dreams can also include being watched, being judged, or being ignored. These are social evaluation cues, and the brain treats them as important signals. Now, why do some dreams recur? A recurring dream is a dream pattern that repeats over time, sometimes with small variations. Recurring dreams can be stressful, but they can also be neutral or comforting. Some people report recurring safe places, like a familiar house, a favorite forest, or a peaceful coastline. Some people report recurring supportive figures, like a gentle guide or a calm animal. So recurrence is not only about fear. One reason for recurrence may be unresolved emotion. If a feeling remains active across weeks, the brain may keep sampling it at night. The template repeats because the emotional theme repeats. Another reason may be rehearsal. If your life includes a repeating pressure, the dream may mirror it with a repeating scenario. A person with ongoing workload stress may keep dreaming of being late or unprepared. A person with ongoing relationship uncertainty may keep dreaming of searching or being misunderstood. A third reason may be learning loops. If your brain is trying to integrate a new identity or life change, it may revisit the same imagery. Moving to a new city, starting a new job, becoming a parent, ending a relationship. These are transitions that can create recurring dream themes for a while. The encouraging detail is that recurring dreams can change when waking life changes. When a waking problem shifts, recurring dreams can shift too. This suggests the pattern is responsive rather than fixed. It is not a permanent curse. It is a dynamic loop. Recurring dreams can cluster around life stressors, especially when the issue feels ongoing or uncontrollable. When control is low, the brain may simulate more, as if searching for an outcome. In some people, simply writing down a recurring dream can reduce its intensity. One reason may be familiarity. When you know the pattern, it becomes less surprising, and surprise feeds intensity. Another reason may be emotional processing. Putting the dream into words can shift it from raw feeling into a more organized memory. This is not a magic trick, but it helps some people. If you try it, keep it simple. a few words, not an essay. Again, no homework tonight, just a gentle fact to know. Another approach is to notice the emotion label more than the plot. If the dream repeats, ask, what is the main feeling? Then let that label sit lightly, like a tag on a file. This can reduce the urge to chase meaning in the middle of the night. Culture and personal context also shape which themes are common. Surveys find patterns, but the frequency of themes varies by country, age, and life situation. A person living in a dense city may dream more about transit, crowds, and buildings. A person living in a rural area may dream more about animals, weather, and open landscapes. A person under public scrutiny may dream more about exposure and evaluation. So common themes are common, but they are not identical across everyone. One last gentle engagement prompt, just for your mind. Which theme shows up most for you? Being late, searching, or falling? You do not need to answer out loud. Just notice your choice, because it may help you recognize patterns later. The main takeaway is simple. Dreams reuse efficient templates to express emotion and social concern. Recurring dreams often reflect an ongoing loop, like stress, learning, or unresolved feeling. They can be negative, neutral, or comforting, and they often shift when life shifts. Next, we will handle the darker side gently. We will talk about nightmares, night terrors, and sleep paralysis, what they are, and what they are not. This section covers the scarier edges of sleep, but we will keep it gentle and factual. If you would rather not picture anything, you can let these words be background sound. We are talking about 3 different experiences: nightmares, night terrors, and sleep paralysis. They can feel intense, yet their biology is surprisingly clear. Let's start with nightmares. A nightmare is a dream with distress, often fear, anxiety, or sadness. Nightmares usually happen during REM sleep, when dreaming can be vivid. Because REM dreams are often detailed, nightmares can feel cinematic and immersive. Many people wake from a nightmare with the emotions still active in the body. You might feel your heart beating faster or notice a wave of unease. Nightmares are also more likely to be remembered than ordinary dreams. That is partly because they often end in waking, which helps the memory stick. It is also because strong emotion tags experiences as important. Nightmare frequency varies a lot across people. Some people have them rarely, and some people have them more often in stressful seasons. Stress and anxiety are linked with a more negative dream tone for many people. Irregular sleep can also increase nightmares by fragmenting sleep and creating abrupt awakenings. Certain medications can change dream vividness and nightmare frequency for some people. This is a reminder that dreaming is sensitive to physiology, not only psychology. Nightmares can also increase during illness, fever, or times of body discomfort. If you have a run of nightmares, it does not mean something is wrong with your character. It can simply mean your nervous system is carrying a heavier load. Now, nightmares are often confused with night terrors, but they are different. Night terrors more often arise from deep non-REM sleep, not from REM. A night terror is an intense arousal from deep sleep with strong body activation. A person might sit up, cry out, or move around while still partly asleep. They may look frightened, but they are often not fully aware of the room. Afterward, there is often little or no detailed dream recall. That lack of recall is one key difference from nightmares. With nightmares, people often remember a vivid story and wake more clearly. With night terrors, people often seem confused, then settle back into sleep. Night terrors are more common in children than in adults. They often appear at ages when deep non-REM sleep is strong and the nervous system is still maturing. Many children outgrow night terrors as the brain's sleep control becomes more stable. Nightmares also occur in children, but the patterns and ages can differ. Nightmares tend to increase when children develop richer imagination and more complex social concerns. For parents and caregivers, the calm goal during a night terror is safety, not discussion. Guiding a child gently back to bed and keeping the space safe is often the priority. Trying to wake someone fully during a night terror can sometimes increase confusion. If night terrors are frequent or risky, a sleep clinician can help evaluate triggers and safety. For most families, the key is to know that night terrors are a known sleep phenomenon. Now, let's move to the third experience: sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis can feel alarming, but its mechanism is straightforward. In sleep paralysis, the brain wakes while REM muscle atonia persists briefly. That creates an awake mind with a still body for a short window. The person can often breathe, but movement feels limited or impossible. The experience can last seconds to a couple of minutes, and it usually ends on its own. Because it ends on its own, the most useful tool is understanding and patience. Sleep paralysis can include unusual sensations that feel very real. A sensed presence is commonly reported, like someone is nearby. Chest pressure can occur, often linked to breathing sensations and body position. Floating, drifting, or vibrating sensations are also reported by some people. These sensations can be explained by body map systems and partial dream imagery overlap. During paralysis, dream imagery systems may still be active while waking awareness returns. So you can feel awake, yet the brain is still producing dreamlike perceptions. That combination is why paralysis hallucinations can feel vivid and convincing. It is not supernatural, and it is not a sign you are losing your mind. It is a timing mismatch between waking and REM physiology. Sleep paralysis is more likely with sleep loss and irregular schedules. It is also reported more often during periods of stress or disrupted sleep. Some people notice it more when sleeping on the back. That may relate to breathing patterns and how the body map interprets chest sensations. Not everyone gets paralysis, and many people experience it only once or twice in life. If you do experience it, the calmest move is to remind yourself what it is. You can think, this is REM atonia fading and it will pass. Then focus on slow, gentle breathing without forcing the breath. If it helps, try to move a small part of the body like a fingertip or toe. Some people find that blinking or moving the eyes can help break the episode faster. Others find that wiggling the tongue or swallowing gently can help. If none of that works, just wait with a soft focus, because the system usually resets quickly. After an episode, it is normal to feel shaky or alert for a few minutes. If you can, keep the lights low and return to comfort cues, like a steady exhale. Now, we will talk about evidence-based approaches for distressing nightmares. The goal is relief, not interpretation. One well-supported approach is called imagery rehearsal therapy. Imagery rehearsal therapy is practiced while awake, not in the middle of the night. You choose a recurring nightmare and write a safer version of the ending. Then you rehearse that new ending gently for a few minutes each day. Over time, many people report reduced nightmare distress and frequency. This approach has research support, especially for recurring nightmares. It works best when it feels empowering, not forced or perfectionistic. Another helpful foundation is sleep regularity. A consistent sleep and wake schedule can stabilize REM timing and reduce abrupt awakenings. When awakenings are less abrupt, nightmares are less likely to be stamped into strong recall. Regular sleep also reduces sleep debt, which can reduce REM rebound intensity. If nightmares spike during a chaotic schedule, steadier timing can help many people. Reducing late-night stimulation can also help some people. Intense media, bright light, and heavy emotional content close to bed can raise arousal. Higher arousal can spill into sleep and tilt dreams toward urgency. Alcohol can also fragment sleep and lead to rebound dreaming later in the night. If you notice a pattern, a gentle adjustment can be useful, without blame. If nightmares are frequent, intense, or tied to trauma, professional support can help. In post-traumatic stress disorder, distressing dreams can be persistent and vivid. In that case, support is about safety and recovery, not decoding symbols. Therapies that focus on reducing nightmare distress and improving sleep can be effective. If you ever feel trapped by nightmares, you do not have to solve it alone. Now, a few calming facts about night terrors and safety. Night terrors are usually more common early in the night, when deep non-REM is stronger. They can be triggered by sleep deprivation, fever, or stress in some people. For children, keeping a regular sleep schedule can reduce episodes over time. For adults, frequent night terrors are less common and may deserve clinical attention. That does not mean danger, just that evaluation can clarify triggers and reduce risk. Now, a few calming facts about sleep paralysis prevention. Sleep regularity and enough total sleep are two of the strongest helpful steps. Side sleeping can reduce episodes for some people who notice a back sleeping link. Managing stress can help, because stress can fragment sleep and increase partial awakenings. If breathing issues or snoring are present, a clinician can check for sleep-related breathing disorders. Not because paralysis always means that, but because stable breathing supports stable sleep. If paralysis episodes are frightening, learning the biology often reduces fear quickly. Fear is fuel for the sensed presence and threat interpretations. Understanding turns the volume down, even if the episode still happens occasionally. Now, one gentle yes or no question for your own mind. Have you ever realized you were dreaming while still inside the dream? Just notice your answer, because it leads us to the next topic. With the challenging topics covered, we can turn to something many people find fascinating. Next, we will explore lucid dreaming, awareness inside the dream, with a calm focus on safety. Lucid dreaming is one of the most fascinating edges of sleep, and it can be approached gently. First, a clear definition. A lucid dream happens when you recognize you are dreaming while the dream continues. That is it. Lucidity is awareness, not perfect control. Some lucid dreamers can change the scene, like opening a new door into a new place. Others cannot change much at all, but they can observe with calm awareness. Both are still lucid dreams. Dream control varies widely across people and even across nights. So if you have ever realized, this is a dream, and then the scene kept going, that counts. Lucidity often begins with a tiny return of metacognition. Metacognition is the mind noticing its own state. In many non-lucid dreams, odd logic feels normal. In lucidity, the mind suddenly questions the oddness. You might notice a contradiction, like a room shifting shape or a person changing identity. And a simple thought appears, wait, I must be dreaming. That moment can feel bright, like a light turning on inside the dream. But it does not have to be intense. Some lucid dreams are quiet, like watching a gentle movie from inside. Now, how do we know lucid dreaming is real in the lab and not just a story told after waking? Sleep researchers have verified lucidity in some participants using a clever method. Participants agree on a specific eye movement pattern before sleep. During REM sleep, even though the body is mostly still, the eyes can still move. In the lab, a lucid dreamer can perform the pre-agreed eye movement signal while still asleep. Those signals are recorded, time-stamped, and matched with REM physiology. After waking, the person reports becoming lucid around the signal time. This provides strong evidence that lucidity can occur during true REM sleep. It also shows that some degree of intention and communication can happen inside a dream. Not everyone can do this, and not every lucid dreamer is lab verified. But the studies demonstrate the phenomenon clearly in at least some cases. Now, why do some people have lucid dreams more often than others? One clue is that lucidity can be more frequent when sleep is fragmented. Fragmented sleep creates more overlap between waking awareness and dreaming sleep. That overlap can allow awareness to appear while the dream continues. This is also why lucid dreaming is sometimes reported during early morning sleep. Morning sleep often includes long REM periods and lighter awakenings. Those conditions can make it easier for awareness to slip in. However, there is a trade-off. More fragmentation can mean worse overall sleep quality. And for a sleep-focused routine, sleep quality is usually the higher priority. So we will treat lucid practice as optional, and always secondary to rest. Now, a gentle engagement prompt, just for your mind. If you ever lucid dream, what is the first thing you tend to do? Do you explore? Do you fly? Or do you ask a question? Just notice your answer without forcing anything tonight. Now let's talk about common techniques and how to keep them calm. Many popular lucid techniques are built around attention and memory. One group is called reality checks. A reality check is a small habit in waking life where you ask, "Am I dreaming right now?" You pair the question with a test, like reading something twice to see if it changes, or looking at your hands to see if they appear unusual. In dreams, details can shift, and the test can trigger lucidity. Reality checks can work for some people, but they require consistency and patience. For a bedtime channel, the main caution is not to make reality checks obsessive. They should feel like a gentle curiosity, not a constant worry. Another group of techniques is mnemonic methods. Mnemonic methods often involve setting a clear intention before sleep. A classic intention is, "Next time I am dreaming, I will remember that I am dreaming." You repeat it calmly, like a lullaby, then let it go. Some people pair it with visualizing a recent dream and imagining becoming lucid in it. This can strengthen the brain's association between dreaming and awareness. Effectiveness varies widely, and it can take time. Another technique often discussed is wake back to bed. Wake back to bed means sleeping for several hours, waking briefly, then returning to sleep. The idea is to enter REM with more alertness, increasing the chance of lucidity. This can work for some people, but it can also reduce total sleep. If you have to wake early, wake back to bed can increase daytime fatigue. So for many people, it is not worth it as a routine. If you ever experiment, it is best treated as occasional and gentle, not nightly, because the best cognitive tool is a rested brain. Another approach is simply improving dream recall. A dream journal can increase recall, and that can indirectly increase lucidity. When you remember more dreams, you notice recurring dream signs. Dream signs are patterns that show up often in your dreams, like certain places, themes, or odd rules. Once you know your dream signs, the dream can become easier to recognize as a dream. In that way, journaling supports lucidity through pattern recognition. But again, journaling should be optional for bedtime listeners. If you keep one, a few words is enough. Now, a safety and comfort note that matters. For some people, intense lucid practice can increase awakenings or anxiety. If you start to feel restless, pressured, or afraid of sleeping normally, that is a sign to ease off. Lucid dreaming is not required for good sleep, and chasing control can backfire by raising arousal. A calm approach is safer and often more sustainable. Here is a softer alternative that can help everyone, lucid or not. Set a tiny intention that does not demand control. For example, notice one detail, notice one color, or notice one sound. This can increase a sense of agency without disrupting rest. It is less about steering the dream and more about gentle presence. Some people find that even a small moment of awareness reduces fear in a nightmare. If you realize it is a dream, you may feel less trapped, even if the scene stays intense. But it is also fine if lucidity never happens for you. Many people never experience it, and they still have rich sleep and healthy dreaming. If you do experience lucidity, another gentle tip is to stay calm in the moment. Some lucid dreamers wake up quickly from excitement. Taking a slow breath in the dream or focusing on a stable object can help the dream continue. But do not worry about technique in the middle of the night. This video is designed for calm, not performance. Lucid dreaming can also blend with sleep paralysis for some people. That is another reason to keep practice gentle. If you notice more strange transitions, it can help to focus on sleep regularity and comfort. Now, let's ground the whole topic in one simple, sleep-friendly summary. Lucid dreams are awareness inside the dream, not perfect control. They can be verified in labs for some people using eye movement signals during REM. They may be more likely when sleep is lighter or more fragmented, especially near morning. Techniques exist like intentions, reality checks, and wake back to bed, but results vary. And for most people, sleep quality matters more than chasing lucidity. If you ever experiment, do it lightly and let rest stay the priority. Next, we move to a softer skill that helps everyone, lucid or not. We will explore dream recall and why some people remember nightly stories and others remember nothing. Mid-video reset, just to keep the night easy. If you are already drifting, you can ignore these words and let them wash over you. If you are still awake, lower your screen brightness one small step. If your phone is bright, you can turn it face down or angle it away from your eyes. Light in the late evening can signal wakefulness to the brain, so dimming helps many people settle. Now soften the volume slightly until my voice feels like it is coming from another room. The goal is comfort, not perfect comprehension. Let the next section play like a quiet audiobook. You do not need to catch every fact, and you do not need to stay alert. If you miss a detail, your brain will still hear the rhythm and the calm tone. Long-form audio works best when you give yourself permission to drift in and out. If you notice your mind clinging, gently loosen your focus. Pick one simple anchor: the weight of the blanket, the cool air, or the steady pace of the words. And if you want a small sleep hygiene tweak, make your room a little cooler if you can. Even a tiny temperature drop can feel more comfortable for many sleepers. All right, settle back into stillness. Now we will talk about recall, how the brain decides what to keep from a dream, and how you can remember more with almost no effort. Dream recall can feel random, like some mornings hand you a story and other mornings give you nothing. But recall follows patterns, and the patterns are surprisingly gentle. First, an important reassurance. People differ in baseline dream recall, and that difference is not a measure of intelligence. It is linked more to attention, interest, and the timing of awakenings. Some people naturally wake briefly more often at night and remember more. Other people sleep more continuously and remember fewer dreams, even if they dream just as much. Recall is also shaped by what your brain thinks is worth saving. If you are curious about dreams, you may notice them more, and noticing is a form of tagging. Now let's talk about the biggest factor: timing. Dream recall is higher when you wake during or right after a dream-rich period. That often means waking near REM sleep, especially toward morning. If you wake long after a dream ended, the memory trace may already be gone. Dreams are fragile memories, and they fade quickly without rehearsal. One reason is that during sleep, the brain is not storing memories the way it does when awake. Another reason is that on waking, the brain rapidly shifts attention to the external world. The new sensory input becomes the priority, so the dream narrative can dissolve within minutes, like mist in sunlight. This is why dream diaries focus on immediate capture. Researchers often ask participants to write or speak reports as soon as they wake. Even then, people often remember fragments, not full movies. That is normal. Now consider alarms. An alarm can disrupt recall by pulling you into problem-solving mode immediately. If the first thought is, "I am late," the dream can vanish on contact. It is not that alarms are bad. Many people need them. It is just that alarms change the mental state fast. A slower wake can preserve a fragment, even if it is only one image. If you ever have the option, a gentler alarm tone or a gradual wake can help some people. But do not stress about it. Recall is optional. Another simple factor is what you do in the first seconds after waking. Even a few seconds of stillness can help. Movement and light can overwrite fragile dream memory. When you move, you activate new body signals and new spatial orientation. When you open a bright screen, you flood the brain with waking input. That input can replace the delicate dream trace before you can name it. So one quiet habit is to pause for a breath before moving. Not to force memory, just to give it a chance. If a fragment appears, hold it gently, like holding a soap bubble. If nothing appears, that is fine too. Trying hard can backfire because effort can increase arousal. Arousal pushes the brain toward day mode, and day mode erases night traces quickly. Another interesting point is attention style. Some people remember dreams because they naturally replay the moment on waking. They think, "What was that?" and the replay strengthens the memory. Other people jump straight into tasks and the dream fades. Neither is better. They are different waking styles. Sleep fragmentation can also increase recall for better or worse. Brief awakenings create a chance to store a dream as a waking memory. If you wake briefly at the end of a dream, the brain can tag it and keep it longer. If you sleep straight through, the dream may never be transferred into waking recall. This is why some people remember more dreams on nights with more awakenings, and why some people remember fewer dreams on deeply continuous nights. Now, let's move from why recall happens to how you can improve it without stress. We will keep it 2 minutes, calm and optional. Step 1 is a gentle intention. Before sleep, you can say one simple sentence, something like, "If I dream, I will remember one detail." This is not a command. It is a soft suggestion to your attention system. Some studies and many diary methods suggest intention can increase recall for some people. The likely reason is tagging. Attention marks the memory as worth saving. Step 2 is to keep a notebook nearby or a notes app set to dim. But the key is to capture keywords, not full stories. One image, one place, one feeling. A single noun is often enough to retrieve more later. Tomorrow morning, if you want a bedtime-friendly prompt, write down the first noun you remember from a dream. Just one word. It could be door. It could be ocean. It could be dog. That is enough. Step 3 is the first seconds after waking. If you wake and want recall, stay still for a moment. Keep your eyes closed if that feels comfortable. Ask, "What was I just experiencing?" Then wait quietly. If a fragment appears, name it in your mind with one word. Naming helps stabilize memory. If you wake at night, a whispered word can be enough to retrieve the dream later. You do not need to turn on lights or sit up. A soft word like stairs or red or train can act like a bookmark. Then let yourself drift back to sleep. Step 4 is consistency. Consistent sleep schedules can increase stable recall for some people. Regular timing reduces abrupt stage shifts and reduces groggy awakenings from deep sleep. When awakenings are gentler, recall can be easier. Irregular schedules can create sudden wake-ups and heavy sleep inertia, which can reduce detailed recall. This does not mean you need perfect sleep. It just means rhythm helps the brain transition smoothly. Now, some people worry that remembering dreams will make them more tired. In most cases, recall habits can be brief and low arousal. The goal is not to become a dream detective at 3 in the morning. The goal is to capture a feather light trace, then return to rest. If you notice recall habits making you more awake, scale them back. Sleep quality is the foundation and recall is a bonus. Another calming truth is that forgetting dreams is normal. Most dreams are forgotten by most people most nights. Forgetting does not mean your night was empty. It means the brain prioritized waking reality when you opened your eyes. Dreams fade quickly because they were not built to be stored like a diary entry. They were built to run as simulations and emotional processing in the moment. So treat recall as optional curiosity, not a requirement. If you remember, enjoy it lightly. If you forget, you still got the benefit of sleep. One more subtle factor is morning routine. If you grab your phone immediately, the attention shift can erase recall. If you check messages, the brain locks onto social and task concerns. If you give yourself even 30 seconds before that, recall can improve. Again, no pressure, just a pattern to notice. Another factor is how you interpret your ability. If you believe you never remember dreams, you may stop checking entirely. Checking is attention, and attention is the gateway. So a softer belief can help. You can say, "Sometimes I remember one detail." That belief keeps the door open without effort. Now, a gentle wrap-up. Recall is shaped by timing, attention, and brief awakenings. It is higher when you wake near dream-rich periods and lower when waking is abrupt or delayed. Dreams fade quickly because the brain shifts to external reality fast. A 2-minute method can help. Set a gentle intention, pause on waking, capture one keyword, then return to rest. Tomorrow morning, if you want, write one noun, just one word. Next, we will explore how dreams vary across age, culture, and even other species, and we will gently separate myths from evidence. We are near the end of the deep dive, so this section widens the view. Dreams are shared human biology, but their style changes across life, culture, and even across species. First, across the lifespan. Children often report vivid, imaginative dreams and more frequent nightmares at certain ages. This matches the idea that sleep architecture and emotion systems are still maturing. As sleep patterns change with development, dream patterns often change too. Some children have intense night fears that fade as their nervous system becomes more stable. Dream themes can also shift as social life becomes more complex. School-age children often dream about friends, rules, and being evaluated. Teen dreams often include stronger social and identity themes, as daily life does too. In adulthood, dream content often reflects work, relationships, and ongoing responsibilities. But it still borrows from older memories, because the brain keeps a deep library. Major life transitions can change dreaming. Many people report vivid dreams during periods like moving, starting a new job, grief, or intense uncertainty. Pregnancy is also commonly associated with vivid dreams for many people. There are several likely reasons, and none require mystery. Hormonal shifts can change sleep quality and timing. Body signals become louder, and sleep can become more fragmented. Stress and anticipation can also rise, and those emotional loads can color dream tone. So vivid dreams in pregnancy or other hormonal transitions are often a biology and sleep pattern story. The same idea applies to illness or inflammation, which can make dreams feel strange or intense. Now consider older adulthood. Older adults often experience lighter sleep and more fragmentation on average. EM proportion and timing can change across age, and awakenings can become more frequent. That can shift both dream frequency and dream recall. Some older adults report fewer dreams, but sometimes it is fewer remembered dreams. Others report more recall dreams because awakenings create more memory capture points. So age does not push dream recall in one direction for everyone. It changes the sleep landscape, and recall responds to that landscape. Another important reminder is that bodies vary. Some people are naturally high recallers, and some are not at every age. That variation is linked more to attention and awakenings than to intelligence. Now, a fascinating example of how dreams draw on available sensory experience. People who are congenitally blind often report dreams with more sound, touch, and spatial sense. Their dreams may include voices, textures, movement, and emotional tone, rather than visual scenes. This shows that dreaming is not only visual cinema. It is simulation using the senses and memories you have access to. For people who lose vision later in life, dream imagery may shift over time. Some report visual dreams fading gradually, while other senses become more prominent. Dreams can adapt to the brain's available inputs and history. Now we shift from bodies to lifestyle. Lifestyle factors can influence dream vividness by shaping sleep quality and timing. Irregular sleep timing can fragment sleep and change when REM clusters occur. Late caffeine can delay sleep and lighten it for some people, increasing awakenings. Heavy evening media can prime imagery and raise arousal, which can spill into dream tone. This is not a moral rule, just a pattern people notice. If you watch intense scenes close to bed, your mind has more intense images available to sample. If you keep evenings calmer, some people notice gentler dreams over time. Now we widen from personal life to culture. Culture shapes how people talk about dreams, what they remember, and what they report. In some cultures, dreams are treated as messages from outside the self. In others, dreams are treated as private noise that is not discussed much. These cultural frames can change attention and recall. If your culture values dreams, you may notice and remember them more. If your culture dismisses dreams, you may let them fade without tagging them. Culture also shapes symbolism. A snake might mean one thing in one place and something completely different elsewhere. So it is wise to separate two layers. Biology shapes the raw material, sleep stages, memory fragments, emotion tone, body signals. Culture shapes interpretation, what you think it means, and what you choose to share. This is why dream meaning is not universal code. Dreams can feel meaningful, but the meaning often comes from your own context. Now, a final soft engagement just for your mind. Pick one myth you used to believe about dreams and quietly release it. No comments required, just a gentle letting go. Here are a few myths that come up often. Myth 1. If you die in a dream, you must wake up. In reality, people can dream of endings without waking immediately. The brain does not follow story rules or dramatic laws. A dream can end, transform, or continue into a new scene without a hard cut to waking. Myth 2. Dreams are reliable predictions of the future. Dreams can feel meaningful and sometimes seem to match later events by coincidence. But controlled evidence does not support dreams as dependable forecasts. The brain is good at pattern spotting, and it can connect worries to real possibilities. That can feel prophetic, but it is usually the mind exploring themes, not seeing the future. A safer framing is that dreams reflect concerns, hopes, and associations, not time travel. Myth 3. You only dream in black and white. Survey-based research suggests most people report dreaming in color. Some people recall color poorly or do not focus on it, which can create the impression of black and white. But when asked carefully, many people report at least some color in dreams. The dream may not always be vivid color, but it is often not purely monochrome. Myth 4. Only REM dreams are real dreams. Dreaming can occur in REM and NREM with different styles and recall patterns. So if you remember thought-like dreams, those still count. Now we widen one last time beyond humans. Many animals show REM-like sleep with patterns that resemble human sleep stages. Some animals also show sleep-related neural replay, where brain activity patterns repeat during rest. This suggests that sleep-based processing is evolutionarily ancient. We cannot ask animals for dream reports in the same way we ask humans, so we should be careful about claims of exact dream content. But the presence of REM-like states and replay supports the idea that internal simulation and memory processing are widespread. Mammals like cats, dogs, and rodents show clear REM-like patterns and muscle atonia features. Many birds also show complex sleep patterns, including REM-like phases. Some research even suggests that certain reptiles may have sleep states that resemble parts of REM and NREM. The cautious takeaway is that sleep is not only rest. Sleep is active processing in many species, and dreaming may be one expression of that processing. When you zoom out like this, dreams become less mysterious and more natural. They are a product of a brain that predicts, remembers, feels, and adapts. They change across life because sleep changes across life. They feel meaningful because emotion and memory are meaningful systems. And cultures shape how we tell the story of what happened at night. From here, we will gently fade out. We will let these facts settle into the background as you fall asleep. If this helped your mind settle, save this video to a sleep playlist so it is easy to replay tonight and tomorrow. In the morning, if you want, Jot 2 lines only, 1 image, and 1 emotion. That tiny note can make recall steadier over time. Good night.